Every sales manager wants an efficient sales team. And that means every member of your sales team needs to know how they can quote, what the rules are, what the guidelines are, and they need to efficiently be shown that information in the interface where they're creating the quote. That's how manager approvals helps quoter partners become way more efficient. So what we're looking at here is the approval policy screen. This is where you build an approval policy. And this is an example of an approval policy that would kick in when the recurring margin is outside of 30 to 60% and the template C or D variant is being used. So as you can see, you can build highly specific rules that will drive manager approvals. Now you might say you want to always require approval. That's if you've got a brand new salesperson and you just want every single quote they're putting out there to go through approval before it gets sent. But once they're past that learning period, you probably want to put in rules that enforce them to not send out quotes outside of your sales policies. So this is a better example of that. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of different rule types. So you've got a lot of flexibility here to fit your rules into this structure. Everything from a specific line item name showing up on the quote to a one-time discount amount or percentage threshold to recurring thresholds at the line item level or at the quote level to a specific organization name being on the quote. That can trigger the need for approval. So you have a lot of flexibility in the types of rules. You also have a lot of flexibility in the and or logic you're applying to these rules, as this example shows. So this would trigger if the recurring margin percent is greater than 60% or less than 30%. So it's saying you have to be within 30 to 60% margin on your recurring line items across the entire quote. And then also that only kicks in for specific templates when you're using this variant C template or variant D template. Lastly, you decide which salespeople will be subject to this policy and who the approvers are. And you also can set whether there's one approver or multiple approvers must approve. And if there's multiple, you can decide the order of those approvers. Now let's take a look at what it looks like to the salesperson. All right, I'm logged back into Quoter as that salesperson. Now I'm going to create a quote for that variant C template or using that variant C template. And I'm going to start by putting in some values against my recurring services here. So first of all, let's copy this line item so that we've got two examples of it. Now let's say our unit price is 200. Well, there we go. Already we've triggered that violation. So you can see down here, our margin on recurring is 87.8%. And you can also see the description down below there too. So quote recurring margin percent is greater than 60%. So that's the rule that was violated. Now let's just try going in the other direction. Let's say we're selling this for $30. Now that's going to also trigger a rule because now we're too low. Now our recurring margin is 18.4%. And you can see the note is updated. So a different rule is violated. Quote recurring margin percent is less than 30%. If we put that into a range that's more acceptable, you can see now the quote can be published. But if we had not done that, if we just submitted it for approval, the first approver would get the email. They would be able to see our approval interface and see the violated rule and decide what they want to do. They can also send comments back on changes that are needed or what the salesperson can do next. So as a high-level overview, that's manager approvals in Quoter. There are a lot more details. If you want more information, please book a session with one of our sales representatives and take a look at this amazing. Happy quoting.